This Memphis team, at its peak, can go how far in the NCAA tournament?
That's all dependent on seeding. So here's the thing. You get in that 8-9 game, I think maybe one win, and then you're out. 7-10, I think you could start to get into some interesting territory if you're in that type of seed line.
Let's just for the purpose of this say they're 7 seed going into the tournament.
I'll still lean on the side of one
Round of
game and
32.
out. Yeah. I'll lean on the side of first weekend.
The absolute ceiling, like best case scenarios, they could be a Sweet 16. But if they play perfectly in those first 2 tournament games as a 7 seed or 10 seed, I think they could be a Sweet 16 team because I think they could have an upset game.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Like, I think if they get in the tournament, they're probably around a 32 team.
I get concerned in a tournament situation, one, with the other team, like when you're playing a high seed in that second round, that high-end talent, some of the pieces that are going to be around that high-end talent, you get concerned about
it's all matchup based, right?
Can Keontae Kennedy show up? Can Elijah McCadden show up? A lot of these guys, as much as experience as they have, they don't have tournament experience.
Right.
So,
but then it becomes also, like I say, with it being matchup based, like, do you face a team with a guard that can shut Kendrick Davis down? Because if you do, you're screwed.
Yes, very true.
So who knows? But I'm with you. I kind of see round of 32 being the likely landing spot. But if everything breaks right, they could be a Sweet 16.
But I think if you're in the, and this is sort of goes without saying, you said 7 seed, let's say perfect situation 7 seed. If they're in the 8-9 game, that's one and out.
Right.
One and out at the best, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I know what they did against Gonzaga last year, but that was a lot of high end talent on that Tiger team, and a lot of guys that have stuck around for a while.
Because if they have to play a 1 seed, then, and I mean they could lose in the first round on an 8-9 seed.
Yeah,
because those are
sure.
usually very evenly matched teams. So.
But I say they get round of 32 and then out is my.
I agree.
My pick.
I think that's what I see too. Is
historically, the second place in the AAC gets the 8 or 9 seed. So let's say they come in as an 8 or 9 seed again. They win that first game, then they face up against the number 1 seed in their bracket.
Yeah.
Here are the top 4. Here are the 4 number 1 seeds in terms of the rankings right now.
Right.
I want y'all to tell me how they match up. All right.
Okay.
Purdue.
Bad.
I don't like it.
Zach Day.
Too big, and even if Malco is completely healthy, that's just a mismatch.
That's a bad matchup for them.
What about Tennessee?
I think they match up well with Tennessee.
What Tennessee are you seeing? Right. That's it.
How
are those guards playing? What's Vescovy doing?
Right.
Ziegler off the bench. If he's cooking, it's different. But we know that Tennessee. I'm going to say this before even hearing the next 2 teams. Of all of the top 4 you're going to mention, that's probably the one I'd say they match up best with. And also rivalry game, you have a little bit of back and forth there.
Except for the next one would be Houston, who you're saying they're going to split with in the regular season.
I was going to say this too. I think their best case scenario would be playing Houston in the second round. I that's what I think.
And then and then the number 4 seed would be Alabama. And
which
so
they took them to the wire.
They took them to the wire.
But I don't necessarily think they match up well against Alabama. I think they played a really good game on the road, but I think Brandon Miller is such a problem, and that Alabama as a whole just has so much experience, and they have so many playmakers on that team that is a tough matchup.
I feel the same about Houston though in a tournament neutral site situation. That's where I'm coming with this.
I agree with you in that sense, but I kind of think the same thing that you were saying with Tennessee, like the rivalry game, the knowing each other well. I think that, in my opinion, that applies more so to Houston because you've seen them twice that year. Let's say theoretically they split with them, so you know that you can beat that team, and that's a different kind of psyche to go into a game with, knowing you can go onto that court and beat that team.
And I'm going to tell the truth a little bit, my truth at least, on that Alabama game. On the road, 3-point game, I get it, 91-88, understand. They did a lot of that in the last minute, just scrapping and clawing. That's why that game was as close as it was in the end of the day. I don't know in that second half if I ever really had that burning thought that they were going to
win.
pull through and win that game on the road.
Completely agree. I never felt like they were going to
because
win that
they
game.
really just scrapped, clawed, found a way to get that within 3 at the end.
Right. It felt like they were
tried
having
to give
a
themselves
fight.
a chance.
It felt like they were having to fight so hard just to be in that game.
Right.
To have it as a a 2 or 3 score game.
Right, but of those 4 for me, it would be Tennessee is the one I think they match up best because I also think that when you're working against regular season Rick,
right,
and you're dealing with his past,
right,
and what we've known to be,
but that'd be a highly defensive game.
Yes, I think so.
I mean, I think we can be pretty frank about it and say Tennessee and Alabama probably won't be in those number 1 spots because the SEC play just beats each other up.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So it wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee and Alabama both took on a couple more losses, maybe 1 or 2 more losses. I mean, they're both really good teams. To me, the team that freaks me out the most if you have to play them in the second round is Purdue. You play Purdue, it's over.
Yeah, you play Purdue, you're not winning.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Do you think that's a win for? I mean, is that a going into this season with this team?
Yes.
A round of 32 with
Yes.
a chance of going to a Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Is that a feather in Penny's cap?
If anybody thought that this team was going to be a Sweet 16 team before the year, they were either looking through blue glasses or lying to you.
I wholeheartedly 110% agree. I mean, with the teams last year and in the past, you had the high-end number 1 recruit, top 10 recruit talent. I love Kendrick Davis. I love DeAndre Williams. They're both into their 20s, right?
Yeah.
And they have experience, but you just look at the talent on this team, it's not what it was in the past. And I think that would be an overwhelming win. And I think even the regular season record we're talking about is an overwhelming win with this group.